Hey y'all, I don't even know if this is working, so we're trying to see what's happening.
Okay, so it says Coffee Date Monday is live. Yay!
I don't even know.
Oh, it's working. There it is.
It's working. What's up, y'all?
Coffee Date Monday is back.
It's back.
It is back. I should put something over here so I can hold up the thing so I can see comments and stuff. Hey y'all, look at our people.
Wow.
Hi Erica, hi Lydia.
Hey y'all. Hey guys.
Hi.
You see I'm Mr. Right?
And I'm Glamma. Happy Coffee Date Monday. This feels so weird.
It's weird, y'all.
Like I can't tell you how long we've been gone.
For real.
But we've been gone a long time.
Mm-hmm. You can put it up right there, man. Just sit it right there.
Okay, let's put the phone right there. So that way I can see comments and I can talk to our family and friends.
Yeah, y'all.
Coffee Date Monday's back, and can I just tell y'all how I feel?
I think you should. Tell us how you feel.
I feel like he's happy that Coffee Date Monday is back, and I feel like I'm nervous because there's a lot to say. There's a lot to say, and there has been a lot happening. Like, you guys can guess that you think what it is, but it's a lot more. So yeah, guys, and you guys know Coffee Date Mondays, there is no hold, no holds bars?
No holds bar.
No holds bar. Like everything kind of comes out during Coffee Date Monday. And I don't really know how I feel about that because it's been a lot. On that note, let's
let's pray. See, I don't know what Kai said. First of all, if you guys don't realize that most of the time we do this, and 95% of the time that we do these, it is ad lib. It's like off the cuff, and that's not Kai. Doesn't work that way.
That's not my strong. That's not a strong area for me.
And
hi, Mama Melinda.
It brings a lot of
feel better soon.
What is it called?
Anxiety. A lot of anxiety. Yes.
A lot of anxiety.
I don't like anxiety. You know why? Because the Bible says be anxious for nothing. And I'm trying not to be anxious over Coffee Date Monday, but the way these freelance conversations happen on Coffee Date Monday, it creates some anxiety in me, especially the fact that there's a lot of things to say.
She thinks there is. And it's great because the greatest thing about Coffee Date Mondays is you get the perspective of two sides. You know, there's always three sides to a story. Three sides.
Three sides.
Mm-hmm.
And don't let Pastor John tell you that the right side is his side.
Mm-hmm. Let me help you out again. What's my name? Mr. Right.
I don't know who got you that cup or why they would do that.
So remember, I'm right 80% of the time.
And 20% of the time when you're wrong, it's a strong wrong. Like it is like a very wrong. But for the most part, can I just say that it's been an amazing blessing to be able to see my husband so strong and like, I don't know, like, can we just take a moment, like, to just like think of where we've been? Like, can we take a second to think of where we've been? Okay, listen, we just came off of a cruise. Which was an amazing, like, I feel like it was a God-breathed opportunity. One, because it was free. That's a reason. That was free. That was the real reason why we went.
It was free.
Because it was free. But two, you guys, it was way more than anything I expected. And I literally found myself ugly crying in the middle of the ocean because I feel like I never imagined. I feel like over a year and a half ago, after everything that we went through, I didn't see that moment. And I think that's why I was so overcome with emotion and everything, because it's like, I didn't see this. And I'm not sure if any of you guys understand what I mean. Like when you go through really hard things, when tears are a part of your everyday diet, when you have to remind yourself to take a deep breath and just breathe. When you have to remind yourself that it's going to get better. The moment that I had in the middle of that ocean, floating on that floaty, was not something that I visualized. And now I'm about to get emotional again, because it was like, it's like that season was so hard that I would have just been happy with my husband just coming out of that season alive. Like Lord, if you'll allow my husband to just be alive, I'll be happy. But floating on that floaty in the middle of the ocean, it was far more than anything I would have ever known to thank or ask the Lord for. And so I was just like literally like overcome. And I was hoping none of the other people splashing around the ocean, laughing and smiling and taking selfies and having a good time, I was hoping they didn't see me, because I felt like they were going to think, oh my gosh, she's in distress, like she needs help. It's like, no, I'm just like really, really thankful that the Lord would allow us to have this moment. So, and even for you, like you had a moment.
This time, yeah. I just know that before we get to that moment, I wanted to talk about what you were just saying. And, being a veteran and people that are in battle, sometimes it's hard to take that defensive posture or offensive posture on. And I think for my wife, during this whole time, she's been a fighter the whole time. And when you get out of a battle, it's not easy to take that off.
Yeah.
It's just on you. That's what's called post-traumatic stress syndrome or distress syndrome.
Yeah.
And she's never had that opportunity. My wife hasn't had that opportunity because we've been busy. She's just one of those people that doesn't know how to take time. She's a fighter. If you guys know Pastor Kaya. You guys know the woman Kaya, the mother Kaya, the wife Kaya. And she's a fighter. She fights for whatever she loves. And to see her to have fight, you guys remember, look at her. Do you remember her continence and her poise during the whole time she was updating people, and people were looking at her like, how could she do it? You don't realize that's a defense mechanism. And that's what she was doing during that time.
And it's funny because when I look at the old videos, I'm like, I was a mess, like on the inside, but on the outside, like it looked like I wasn't. And so now I'm knowing why people was like, how are you so calm? I'm like, I'm not calm. I'm concerned. I'm trying to believe the Lord. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know where I was at. Sorry.
No. But I remember coming home from all of that, like literally it took a long time to literally take that off or put that down, because when you feel like if you don't fight, like you'll die. Like, and I didn't know how to take that off, like even being around my kids or around my family at church. It took a while to just be like, put down the weapons. No one's here to harm you. No one's here to harm John. Like everything's okay. But I didn't necessarily have anybody saying that to me, because I didn't know I needed to hear it. Because there was a lot of emotions and feelings I had that I did not understand.
And she still doesn't understand.
Yeah, still.
Yeah, so I think where I was at, if I can remember, the fact that during this time, she tried to get counseling, but I guess it wasn't working for her. It's just the whole group counseling thing isn't good. And I didn't know how to help her. I know what it is. I know what it is because of my training. I know what it's like to to save people and do things through the moment. And then, weeks later it hits you because now you decompress and then you go back and think about it. And then all of a sudden you're back in that moment and you're waking up and you're having vivid dreams and all different kinds of things. And can you imagine doing that for 8 months?
8 months.
And that's not just the hospital stuff. It's the fact that you guys don't even know about,
Post-rehab.
the post rehab, coming home, worried about, because my immune system is shot. If I get a cold, and it was crazy because right when we got home, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 months after that, the kids got COVID.
Yeah.
And then I think Kai, I think you got COVID. Something like that happened. So I mean, all these things are going on. So now for her, she has to still stay in what? She stays in that defense mode. And I think it was good for her when we were able to, to fast forward being in Liberty out in the ocean for her. I think it was a time to start. And I'm saying this, and she doesn't know this, but like I said, my perspective, it's a time for her to start letting go. Now, this is what some of you guys don't realize. You're looking and you're thinking about this whole heart transplant thing. I need you guys to go back 2 years when I first had the stroke, the first stroke.
First stroke, yeah.
And at that point is when she had to take a mantle that she wasn't made to take. And because she's been operating in that mantle for so long, and then it got even worse. And then when I'm at home, she still has that mantle. But now that I'm back, now that I'm strong, now that I'm healthy physically, I'm there. I'm not as strong. I can't bench press 300 pounds like I used to, but I'm at 2. I mean, I can do 200.
Oh, you can do 200.
I can do 200.
Okay.
So, but either way it goes, it's just it's time for her to let go.
I think that another layer came off in the ocean. That's what I felt.
I wouldn't even say another layer. I think there was a shell that was cracked, and now things are going to be able to start being released. So it's a difference, because a lot of people don't realize that they have so many layers. It's an onion. And just like you go buy an onion, it's got the first layer on it and you see the onion, but until you start pulling off the dry part of the onion is when you start getting. But the best part of the onion is on the inside.
Yeah.
But for her case, we need to peel off those layers that she built up to protect what was on the inside. So we need to peel those layers off, and that takes time.
Yeah.
And this is something that, I haven't actually said anything about it, but this is the thing my wife just said. This is the other side of hope. My wife said it. She said, I just hope my husband will live.
Yeah.
And God answered that prayer. But everybody always has, they hope for something. They hope for this, they hope for that. And when they get it, they don't realize what's beyond the hope, the thing that you got. And I've said this before. It's like everybody hopes to get a job. And when they get a job, 3 months out after you're at the job, you start complaining. Well, that's what you asked for. So we have to sit down and think, we have to sit down and, do you know what you're asking for? My wife's like, yeah, I know. I don't care however my husband is, whether he can talk, whether he's blind, whether he's not going to be able to walk again or do whatever. I want my husband alive. And then once she sees that, months later, let's just be honest. For people that have sick ones at home, you want them there, but at the same time, maybe you're dealing with your parents, like older parents or children that have an illness and things of that. You love them, you want them there, but there's something in you that is like, man, you're gonna complain a little bit about it because your work and all this other stuff. So I understand that, and for Kaya, I really think that she is literally seeing this other side of hope, but she's being grateful in it. And I see that, and I'm just challenging you guys too, is remember what you prayed for and remember not to complain, because this is what we prayed for. So yeah.
I think being a caretaker of someone with a long-term illness, and so for instance, for you, that long-term illness was, a bad heart, and it came with a plethora of other things. Like it came with the fact that you had to have a low salt diet. It came with the fact that when things toward the end of that, you started getting these sugar drops. And I mean, at random times, you would get like a sugar crash where what was the symptoms? Like you get confused, right? Nauseous.
I would, I would sit there and I could feel it. I could feel it happening. You
Yeah.
could feel it. And then all of a sudden, I mean, it would happen like a crash.
Quick.
And then I'd look at it. And if I was around, I'd look at it and I'd be like, you got to get me some orange juice. You get me something quick.
And then literally like within minutes of that, he'd be literally like almost incapacitated.
Sweating.
And so my thoughts were, what if he's driving? What if he's on the pulpit? Like, what if like there was like all these layers of fear that came in combination with the underlying issue was there was a heart issue, but like all this other stuff started piling on. And then I remember during the first stroke, that's when he wasn't able to talk, wasn't able to communicate, wasn't able to say his name, his birth date, nothing. And that was at the height of COVID. And so I couldn't go in there with him. And I remember just really depending on those phone calls from the doctors to give me an update on what was going on, because I couldn't go with him. And I knew he couldn't communicate or advocate for himself. And I will never forget the phone call, the brash, super emotionless, heartless phone call I got from one of the doctors saying, yeah, so we found out that, you know, when he had his stroke, the blood clot went in two different directions, one to the head and one to the lower extreme area, and went to his spleen, liver, whatever, which is fine. But there's some blockage with his colon, so we're gonna have to give him a colonoscopy. Oh, and by the way, he'll never have a heart transplant.
No.
Yeah. So anyway, and then just like kept talking.
Not a colonoscopy. They were gonna actually take away my whole descending colon.
Yeah, and he was gonna. They said, oh, he said, oh, he'll be fine. He'll be on a colostomy bag, and it's fine. He can live that way. And oh, by the way, he'll never have a heart transplant. And I was like, oh, I mean, I literally felt like David when he was looking at that giant. I'm like, you uncircumcised, who are you to come in here and tell me and make a declaration like that? You know,
that's the fighter.
Oh my gosh. So I feel like that is when I put on those warrior clothes, and it did. And from that moment, going on to the second stroke, going on to the heart transplant, going on to the rejection, body rejecting the heart, going on to the next surgery, the next open heart surgery, going on to post rehab, like on and on and on, coming home, trying to reconcile with our kids, which, you guys, that was a whole nother gamut of issues.
Oh yeah.
Trying to reconcile in ministry, trying to find our place again in ministry with some amazing leaders and pastors that we have.
Yeah.
But all of it was like different types of like battles that I found myself. Nope, this is not the time to take off the warrior clothes. Nope, this is not the time to rest. Nope, this is not the time to sit. And so I'm telling you guys, with tears streaming down my face in the middle of the ocean during this cruise, you guys, I felt there was a cry and a release that I just had in the middle of that ocean that I have never experienced before. And it was almost like the Lord's like, he saw this moment. Like he saw that moment, you know, standing on the side of my husband's bed. When I looked at him, I'll never forget the way I looked at him. And I said, John, you better fight. You better fight. If you can't fight for your kids, if you can't fight for yourself, you better fight for your kids. And I remember looking at him, because if I could crawl in his body and fight for him, I would, but I knew that I couldn't. And so I was faced with a obstacle or a battle that I had no control over. And I'll never forget looking in his eyes and telling him, you better fight, John. Because I saw it on him. He was literally tired, you guys.
I was done.
He was tired. He was ready to tap out. By the time his body started rejecting the heart and things weren't working out and they didn't know how to fix it, what was going on, I saw it all over him, you guys. He was done. And I knew he was done. And so I remember looking at him and saying, you better fight. And so what I'm saying is, in that moment, when I felt like I was coming against the hardest battle, the Lord saw us floating in the middle of that ocean, in the midst of all the blessings and all the promises and all the things that we asked for and begged for and pleaded for. God saw it. Like he saw all those moments. And it just makes me so grateful that I serve such an amazing God, so that I don't have to know all the answers. All I'm commanded, all I'm asked to do is just trust and believe and don't give up hope.
Yeah, I'm looking at you right now, and you're looking back.
You guys, like, I wish I could put words on it. I wish I could put words on it, but that's the best that I could do. Because we got way more than we asked for. And I'm so thankful.
Yeah.
So of course we'll do Coffee Date Monday, even though I don't like doing all the randomness and talking about all the things and crying tears on the Facebook Live, of course. But man, why would I not? Why would I not? This is what it looks like on the other side of hope.
The other side of hope. Yeah. But on that, I mean, what we're doing now, basically, as far as life goes, I think we're doing great. We're still thinking about it like being home. It's like literally a little over a year since we actually are back doing regular stuff, and it's still a fight.
It really is.
It's still a fight. It's the heart's doing great, you guys. The heart is just like I think I got a heart of an 18-year-old.
I think he
I
does
really think
too.
so.
I think he does too. And I know a lot of you guys are wondering where we're at in that process of meeting the donor family and stuff like that. And so we have the letter written because we have to submit a letter to the what's it called? To
the donor family. So in order to get a hold of the donor family, there is a what do they call it? A mediator. So that mediator, what we have to do, it's a foundation, a donor foundation, so all in the United States, and we got to send a letter. They'll look at it, and it has to say specific things on it. You can't say your full name, your kid's name, or anything like that. You say basically stuff like, actually, Melinda knows. Her father, I think her father did the same thing, but we was able to reach out through this company. And they'll take that letter that we write and they'll send the letter to the donor family, and the donor family may or may not want to connect.
Yeah.
If they say yes, then they'll come back, and the donor family say yes, we want to hook up. And what we'll do is, the organization will get us together.
Yeah, they'll plan it.
And they'll plan it. So it's not like, we can give each other the information.
Yeah. So it's up to the donor family because, we don't know what position they are. We don't know what happened with the donor. That sometimes the family's like, we don't want to meet them. It's too painful. Like, so it's their choice. And so the organization will basically like take the letter and they'll let us know if the donor family wants to meet. And if they do, they'll they'll arrange it. But I remember right after the transplant, man, I remember being so grateful. And I'm like, I wish I could meet the donor family now. Like, why do we have to wait a year? Like, why do we have to wait so long? And now that we've been through all the gamut of things that happened after the heart transplant, now it makes sense.
It does for me.
I understand it a lot more now.
And I just want to let you guys know, all you guys, there's a community of people that have had heart transplants. And even since I've had a heart transplant, I've mentored 3 people.
Yeah, that's true.
3 people that had heart transplants so far. And it's just been a year for me. And one of them was a childhood friend of mine. His name's Jason Graham, who got his new heart. And he's convalescing. He's doing well. But I also wanted to say that with that community, you know what? And you guys know, I know you guys know as me as Pastor John, but I'm going to tell you as John also. God, if you don't have a church, go to church, because everything you pray for will probably be inside the church through God's people. Why do I say that? Because Melinda's father, James, he had a heart transplant over 20 years ago, and he mentored me. He came, nobody else could see me but family, but because her father, James,
he's such a character.
He's a character, man. This dude, he's so smooth when he talks. He convinced the people to come, that he can come in, and he came to see me after I had my heart transplant.
You were trying to figure out how he got in.
I was trying to figure out how he got in.
Stanford's super strict.
Yeah, and he got in there, and he's Mr. Fly. He sits down, he has his hat on, he tells me a couple stories, but it's people like that they come in, they're like angels. Angels aren't always the ones with wings and run around. Angels are people that have the gift of encouragement, to
messengers of
love on
hope.
you. They're, yes, messengers of hope. And he came and he loved on me. He loved on me and my wife. And I just thank God for him. So I just wanted to thank, big shout out to brother James, Jimmy. I know he likes James, but we call him Jimmy. So Jimmy Tutuo. If I said it right, Melinda, you know I always say it wrong. But yeah. So I just wanted to share that out to you guys. Why I say with the church is because if I didn't have a church family, then this wouldn't have happened. Because through families, people I knew in my network of church friends and church family, this was when I got an angel in my life.
Yeah.
Amen. Your triumph is someone else's tragedy. Amen, Linda.
Yeah. So again, we're really looking forward to connecting with the donor family. Just, man, doing whatever we can to express our gratitude for their family member's life. If I can be honest, when things really got hard, and I know a lot of you guys probably know all about it because a lot of you guys were on my updates list with prayer requests. Like, I literally had a hard time finally getting to the point where I would say, okay, you guys, let's pray that the Lord brings John a heart today, a heart match, the perfect heart match today. Like, that was a hard thing to come to because I knew what that was going to cost someone else. And I was in conflict with asking the Lord to release someone's life to save John. And so I'll never forget that struggle that I was in. And it wasn't literally until like the 9th hour, like as I was downstairs giving an update to you guys, they were literally working on John, trying their best to keep him alive upstairs. Like, that's how bad it was. But so many angels intervened. Like, I'm telling you, like literal angels came into our room. We have so many stories, angels coming in our room. Not only that, but this one particular doctor that was getting ready to, what do you call it? Intubate him. And, I mean, like, it was like you guys, it was going to be bad. Like, literally, they were thinking only way to keep him alive is to intubate him and to make him like in a coma state or whatever until we can wait for a match, because things had got that bad. It sounded terrible. And so I remember I went downstairs. No, I was getting ready to come downstairs and give an update to you guys because I'm like, we got to pray. Like, we got to pray. Like, this is a new thing. We got to all get in agreement and pray. And I remember they called the doctor in to do it, and she came in, and it was almost like she looked like, wait a minute, no. She was like, wait, I'm not doing this. She's like, there's another way. She literally, like, she was the only one. She just stopped and was like, no, there's another way. We don't have to do this. There's another way. I'll never forget that. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember. I don't remember it because I was so out of it, but I remember her telling me what the lady said. I was kind of incoherent at that time. My heart was just, it was in so much trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys, it's so funny. I mean, even with that, during that time, you think once you get the heart, and I don't know if you guys really understand, once I got the heart, everything was great. And then all of a
for like a day and a half.
Not even that long. And then all of a sudden my heart started rejecting. Then they were trying to get that together. And then come to find out my the tricuspid valve was not working. So that was happening. And then my kidneys started failing.
Yeah.
My liver started failing. Everything was just shutting down. My lungs weren't working right. And it was like, okay, here we go again.
Yeah. And that's when John got to that point where he was like, I'm done. Because it was like a false, what do you call it? False summit.
A false summit.
Like, in our minds, if we could just get to the heart transplant, things were going to be so smooth from there. And it was like, let's push, you know, and we were praying, push. And so I feel like that's how John felt. Like, I'm just, because I'll never forget you telling them to give you that, now I forgot the name of it, where it's the heart outside your body.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I forgot the name of it.
Yeah.
But they had never put that on a person without an anesthesiologist. But John's heart was so grim and it was like so bad. He literally was like, just do it. Because they were waiting for the anesthesiologist to come, but he was like in surgery somewhere. And so like there was a delay.
You're talking about the ECMO.
The ECMO, yes. The first time. Yeah. And so John was like, just do it. But I'm saying, you guys, he was soldiering up the whole time. Like he was in soldier mode the whole time. But when it got to that point, when the heart was being rejected, the organs were shutting down, they were trying to figure out why the tricuspid valve, where this issue came from. It was literally like I saw all strength just drain from his face. Like I saw it. It was literally like he was like, "It's fine, just take me." Like, and I don't know if you guys know, like it all starts in the mind. Like if a person decides, I'm done, I'm ready to go. Like there's nothing that can be done physically. Like, you know, when someone's made up their mind that they're done fighting and they just want to go, especially when someone like him saw a glimpse, you know, glimpse of the love and the joy and the peace that's on the other side, which he did.
I've seen it.
It was almost like Paul said, I would rather go.
It'd be better. It'd be better for you that I stay here, but I would love to go.
I would love to go. And he literally, like, now reading those words, it's almost like
I understand.
You know exactly what Paul.
I knew at that point that with all this, I was like, well, Lord, can you take me? I mean, it was like Elijah when he sat down and he said, Lord, is it enough? He says, just kill me. You know, and I literally, that was my prayer. I was like, Lord, you know, I'm done. Don't just end my suffering right now, because I was in so much pain, no hope, and I was just tired of it. I was just tired of, you know, no sleep. And then an angel came to me, and our angel's name was Kaya. And that's when she turned and looked at me, and she looked at me and she says, look, you ain't got to do it for me, but you got to do it for your kids.
Yeah.
She said, be strong.
I remember I came to you and said that in the morning because I left that day and all night I saw your face, and I had a hard time sleeping at the hotel that night, like a hard time, because I was like, he wants to give up. He wants to give up. He wants to give up. And I remember just praying like, Lord, I don't know what to do. He wants to give up. He wants to go. And who am I to tell him, don't go be with Jesus? Like, you know, but I remember on my drive that morning back to the hotel, it was like, tell him to do it for his kids. Like literally it was like, just clip, tell him to do it for his kids. And I was like, yeah, that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, do it for your kids. And so I remember I came in with a resolve, and I was like, I was not wife, I was coach. I was like, you don't have to do this for yourself, but you're going to do this for your kids. I'll never forget. And that's all he had to hear. And it was all of a sudden, he was back in soldier mode. But I feel like a lot of us can relate to that. It's like, when we feel like we can't fight for ourselves, we can find strength to fight for people we love. And so I really appreciate, I'll never forget the Lord literally giving me that message clear as day. Tell him to do it for his kids. And he did. And he endured, I don't know how many more months of suffering and pain and whatever, but here we are. Here we are. And you're still here.
We're still here.
Yep. And you're still getting stronger.
You're getting stronger.
Yes.
Mind's getting better.
Yeah.
So.
But all that to say that it wasn't all peaches and cream when we got home, y'all. And that was the hard part, because I felt like that's all we wanted. We longed to be at home with our family, and we longed to be at church with our friends and our family, our church family. That's all we wanted. Like we envisioned it. We fantasized about it all the time. And so when we got home and things weren't easy, or things weren't as great as we fantasized or imagined, man, that was hard. And so I feel like as we go on, and especially next week, we'll talk a little bit more about that, about how hard things were when we got home. And just me personally, you guys, I literally went through my own little depression, and I didn't understand it. So I'm like, I have so much to be thankful for, and here I am depressed. Like, my husband's alive. Why am I depressed? So yeah, we'll talk a lot about that more next week.
Yeah, so you guys, listen, we are back at it, okay? So it's going to be every Monday. Same time, same bat channel. We'll send, I think somehow we'll be able to shoot this to you guys. If you can't find it, you can actually go to our YouTube channel. Yeah. It's Coffee Date with Butchers. You can go back with and see some of the old videos if you guys like. Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
And besides that, we just want to say thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah.
And we're still happy. We're so happy that we got that cruise.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah, it was a great cruise. And I just want to say thanks to Plexus. I just wanted to put that out there.
A little shout out.
A little shameless plug. But they really blessed us.
They spoiled us.
They blessed us. So, yeah.
Truthful about it. Totally spoiled.
Totally spoiled. All right, you guys. Well, we love you guys.
See you guys.
We'll see. Let me get my coffee.
Glamour.
And guess what?
Signing out.
And Mr. Right.
Glamour. Signing out. Love you guys.
Later. Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.